Chimera is delighted to bring you some of Scotland's most exciting new voices in our Brave New Words readings. Jim Alexander is a graphic novelist and writer whose writing credits include DC, Marvel, 2000 AD and Black Library. He is reading from his second novel, The Light, a work of speculative fiction that asks the question, what would you do if you knew today was your last day?
It began with the Polynesian kingdoms of Samoa and Kiribati, through to the very last time zone, Baker Island, set adrift of the outlying United States. 40 days of death rolled into one, 5.5 million souls, the equivalent of the total population of Denmark or Paraguay. It measured in the tens in Tonga, unusually high. A woman died of haemophilia, a man died of old age in his sleep. There was a case of accidental poisoning. On a global scale, not earth-shattering, not illuminating, but without the first snowflakes, there could never be an avalanche. Both New Zealand and Australia had their own quintessential disasters in the shape of earthquake and plane crash respectively. Coming in, the first reports of people having lost the sensation of touch in their feet and hands. Death from natural causes was naturally high. There were several incidents of fatal dog attacks. The same day, a new set of crises. In Japan, a spike in deaths due to stomach cancer, starvation in North Korea, malignant neoplasms in South Korea. Around the same time, truly upsetting news stories were emerging, and awareness in people that they were about to die. Financial soothsayers warned of runs in the banks, markets susceptible to collapse. On a global scale, anxiety and fear piled up, and anxiety and fear. When China woke up, all bets were off. It was at this point that commentator Al Bowman infamously remarked that the shit had hit the fan. Infectious and parasitic diseases, rampant bird flu, an attempted military coup, purging of prison populations, diseases of the ear and mastoid process, bodies piled up high in the sides of roads. Bowman would later go on to comment, which some found confusing at the time, death does not do irony. But the more the phrase was repeated by him and others besides, the more sense it began to make. Circulatory diseases, natural disasters, stillbirths, acts of genocide, terrorism, fatal accidents being struck by lightning. Nepal, India, Pakistan, Russia, Europe. Border conflicts, air pollution, endocrine, nutritional and metabolic diseases, complications during pregnancy, the extreme cold. South America, Canada, USA. Cancer of all kinds, respiratory diseases, victims of gun crime, skin disease, exposure to narcotics and hallucinogens, traffic accidents, hypothermia, snowslides, state-sponsored executions, a spate of fatal stab wounds to the neck, a virus. It was a tidal wave, and yes, people died as a result of tidal waves. In terms of cause, it wasn't as if death had reinvented itself, but in terms of effect, it was seismic. The usual instances of death applied, but to every 40 instead of 1. To this day, experts still collate data, constantly revisiting, endlessly revising, going back to the start of it all. A start with a time, location and date, which was 12 midnight in Kiribati on the 7th of January 1998. That was the day, they said, looking back, and everyone knew what they meant by this. That was the day.